Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror, we'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw.
And I'm Sean Liang.
And far up, far out, far more, James Bond is back.
Whoa, that was
on Her Majesty's Secret Service from 1969. George Lazenby's only entry into the series, where we're going to be talking about today. Before we get to that, Sean, have you been watching anything?
Let me see. No, I've been watching more of these weird ghost documentaries with my mom.
Ghost documentaries?
Yes. Like what?
You mean like Ghost Hunters?
Sort of stuff, yeah, stuff like that. Last night we watched Children of the Grave, which.
So like fake shit.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, this one supposedly won Best Paranormal Documentary of 2008, which by I don't know who, but it was sort of one of those. Yeah, it didn't look. Some of these things where this one took itself pretty seriously, so I don't know what's real and what's not real, but.
Right, gotcha.
Well, we loved watching that stuff, so I like that garbage.
That dude. What have I been watching? Nothing. We bought some new furniture, and our dresser was like cracked, so we had already moved our dresser out of our bedroom, and so now we don't have a TV in the bedroom anymore for like another couple days, so now we can't watch it.
That's lame.
Whatever. There's other ways to occupy yourselves. Let's talk about Her Majesty's Secret Service. I'd never seen it before.
Really?
Yeah, this is one of like 2 Bond films I'd never seen. This and Never Say Never Again.
Well, this one very much stuck out to me. I kind of liked this one a lot.
So the IMDb synopsis for the film is: James Bond woos a mob boss's daughter and goes undercover to uncover the true reason of Blofeld's allergy research in the Swiss Alps that involves beautiful women from around the world.
All of them dolls. Every one different. They've got to be when he's around.
My name's Bond. James Bond.
The new Bond.
Suppose I were to kill you for a thrill.
The different 007.
James Bond. He was, prior to being cast as James Bond, a model. Hadn't really done a whole lot of acting. So with that in mind, it's also got Telly Savalas as Blofeld. What did you think of this one,
Okay,
Sean?
so I watched this one and Moonraker back to back, and I maybe that was the thing. I really liked this one. And I really, really like George Lazenby. And that surprised me.
Because he's a cutie.
Well, that too.
I know you,
but
Sean.
You know what? That aside, I really liked, compared to Roger Moore. That was Moore, right? Yeah. I really liked I really like George. Georgie, you know, like he brought some complexity to the character, I thought. But I don't know.
He's Australian.
Was he really?
Yeah, he is. He's the only Australian James Bond.
Those Aussies sneaking up on us Americans all the time. But I don't know. There's something about him. He was a little bit more brooding, but he still had that like Sean Connery like genial charm that I feel like Roger Moore didn't have, which was strange, and it kind of made him seem like. Anyway, I don't want to talk about him yet, but I thought it was surprisingly good. I kind of related to Bond in a different way this time, which is cool.
Yeah, I like I said, I'd never seen this before, and I know people that this is, unless they're kidding. I know that this is their favorite Bond. Yeah, which I mean is not strange. I mean it's tonally very different from. Yeah, it's very much a product of the times. I mean this film came out in '69, so it's right on the cusp of the 70s. But his attire in this movie is more or less what they base the Austin Powers character off of in the Austin Powers movies.
There's so much Austin Powers that I saw from this movie. I mean, there was so much. It was great. I was like, oh man, I've been saying that from the beginning too. But it's this one, man. The costumes, the looks, they all came from this.
The tone. I mean, it's got a little bit more comedy to it.
Yeah. Like even the opening line, he says, it's almost like an aside to the audience where he's like, that didn't happen to the other fellow.
Which let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
There has been this fan theory going around for a fair number of years. I don't know if
this. Yes.
Okay, I don't know. Do you know
a little
about
bit,
this?
But from what you said before, but I totally snapped in my mind when I saw that line.
Right, when that James Bond 007 is a moniker, not the name of the character.
Which totally makes sense, kinda.
Well, yeah, I mean that for me as a fan of film, that's the only way that any of this makes sense. Is that 007 James Bond is a title, not a person, which allows for all of these different assholes to be James Bond. Right. Which makes more sense than it's all the same guy. And this line, as kind of maybe throwaway as it is, kind of reinforces that.
It totally does, yeah.
Because Lazenby looks at the camera and he's like, this never happened to the other guy, which is implying that he knows that he is a different person from the other Bond. Right. So I mean, is it ever been confirmed? No. They almost confirmed it in Skyfall when they had Connery playing a groundskeeper at the Skyfall mansion, which was supposed to be a James Bond retirement facility type thing. Yeah, for all the James Bond / 007s. I like to believe that's the.
I mean,
case.
That totally makes sense. 007 is a code name, and it would make sense that. Yeah, I mean, they're all like James Bond is in every movie is always contemplating retirement. So I mean, it just makes sense to me. I don't see anything wrong with that as far as messing up the narrative.
No, and I think some people don't like that for a number of reasons, but this isn't Doctor Who where it's explained away with sci-fi. Right. This is grounded in reality, sort of, as best it can be. But I think that line in my mind. Having never seen this movie and hearing him say, well, this never happened to the other guy. It's fourth wall breaking on top of everything else. It's really strange that people aren't like, well, this is like, here's like the smoking gun.
Yeah.
Unless you're just like, well, we don't put a whole lot of, credence behind this. Right. This is just like a one-off bullshit thing. But I think that it's this 007 moniker thing personally. I think that for me is the only way that any of these movies kind of make sense. Yeah, totally.
I agree.
And with the end of this movie being what it is, you could make a case as to why this version of 007 never comes back.
Sure, exactly. I was going to say the finality of this movie kind of makes it feel like its own story anyway.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense why Lazenby never came back as Bond in a story sense. Right. Obviously, real life sense is a different issue. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the specifics of the movie. So in this, he's facing Blofeld again, who he's faced a couple times prior to this film. He faced him in You Only Live Twice, where he was played by Donald Pleasence. And that was, I guess from Russia with Love, you see him as well, and Thunderball, but it's not revealed who he is until You Only Live Twice, that it's Donald Pleasence playing Blofeld. And Blofeld obviously is kind of the Moriarty to James Bond's Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he's doing allergy research in a mountaintop clinic on top of Piz Gloria in
Swiss Alps.
Yeah. And he's like brainwashing 12 women into releasing some sort of biological warfare across
that could
the
essentially
world.
Stop everyone from being able to reproduce.
Yeah. I mean, I would say in the kind of the scope of Bond, this is a pretty, it's pretty James Bond.
Yeah. Save the world.
Right? I don't know. Yeah. Save the world. I mean, I think it's a little strange. His motivation, Blofeld's motivation, is doing allergy. That's kind of the allergy research is the
it's weird because that is like let's train 12 zombies instead of I don't know, spike the water line. I don't know.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, it's a little weird. And he wants amnesty for his previous crimes.
That's also weird to me.
Yeah, so he's gonna sterilize the food supply of the world unless his demands are met, and his demands are he wants to receive amnesty, he wants a title, the Count, he wants his Count title instated, and he wants to be allowed to retire. And that's like the big kind of...
It's so selfish.
It's kind of so weird for a James Bond storyline.
Especially for like this big villain. Like, I just want to retire by myself and be left alone.
Right?
Or I'll kill the world.
And I think that works with the actor Lazenby and just kind of the difference of this film. This film's very different for James.
It felt different. Like the formula was broken a little,
Yeah. Well, I mean, throughout the film, James Bond is pursuing Contessa Teresa di Vicenzo, played by Diana Rigg, who played Miss Emma Peel in the Avengers TV show. And they get married in the film.
That was surprising to me. That was like a big character change for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Which is kind of what this film is known for. Other than the fact that it's Lazenby's one time out as Bond, it's also known as the film where Bond gets married.
Yeah, which is quite interesting after he sets up like these rendezvous like within the hour. That was just like 8, 9, and 10. They had 3 different girls. That was...
Yeah. On top of the mountain
at Piz Gloria.
Yeah, he's just like having sex. Yeah,
constantly as much as possible, like almost every single one of them. So like it's like that was like the before Tinder happened, right? Like that was like the swipe.
He also makes a statement that he has 4 balls at one point.
That was so... But yeah, it was strange because that was like the big stray from character is that he started contemplating settling down with one woman, and that was cool. Kind of, maybe that was sort of the complexity that I'm talking about when I say this Bond felt different and more, I guess, layered. Because the fact that he talked about marriage was interesting, and then they did it, and like that kind of set up the final end of it, which makes it
is a total
a total bummer. But you kind of see it coming, for me at least. I did,
and it's very different, and we won't skip to the ending yet, but the ending of this film really sets this film apart.
Oh man,
it's a real bummer.
It's like that episode of Fresh Prince when his dad leaves him.
Oh wow, I have your reference completely over my head. Come on. Oh god,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I don't. I've never seen a single episode of that show.
Well, it's the kind where they don't play like the outro music. It's just like silent and credits,
like the series finale of Dinosaurs.
Sure, I guess so.
Where all the dinosaurs freeze to death.
Are you kidding me? Okay, well, there's now have to watch that show.
The final episode of the Disney TV series with live action puppets dinosaurs is the Ice Age comes and freezes all the dinosaurs, including baby Sinclair.
That's dark.
The last shot is just like their house covered in like snow and ice.
Oh my gosh! And that show's like a sitcom, right? Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta watch it.
But I mean, like that's the ending of this.
Yeah,
film is like it doesn't mesh well with any of the other films of James Bond at all. But like I said, before we get too ahead of ourselves, what did you think of Telly Savalas' Blofeld?
It's funny because I don't have a strong opinion on him. I thought he looked like Dr. Evil, and that was funny to me. So I kind of thought he was funny. I mean, I didn't feel strongly about him. I liked that he looked like he looked like my idea because I guess like because I associate him with Dr. Evil. And also Fräulein Bunt. I loved the two of the characters together. Just totally brought me to gold member.
Well, and that's what this. I mean, obviously, that's what they're based off of.
Exactly. But other than that, I mean, like, I didn't seem. I don't know. I'm glad that he was in like that chase at the end, but he's probably, out of all the Blofelds I've seen so far, at least it was fun to see a real bad guy out of him, you know?
The chase at the end is...
Oh, that last shot was my favorite.
It's just, it adds to the campiness of this film. This film is much campier than any other film.
Yeah. Which
is weird, juxtaposed against the ending of this film, which is so dark. Yeah,
because it is very poppy, and it's interesting.
Yeah. This is also one of the few Bond films that doesn't have a sung title song.
That's right.
It's just a kind of an interesting take on the James Bond theme, which I actually really liked.
I did too.
I thought it was really good. I like Telly Savalas. You know, Telly Savalas, the only other thing I've ever seen him in is The Dirty Dozen, where he played like a psycho sergeant who tries to like rape everyone. He was good in this. You know, he's pretty menacing. Yeah. You know, obviously Telly Savalas is known for his, you know, or his role.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
As Kojak. You know, I liked him a lot. You know, he was a really, I think he was a really good opposite of Bond. You know, he wasn't like super menacing.
He still had like a charm about him.
Yeah, he was, you know, and Blofeld kind of has to be, because Bond is only as good as his villain, right. And Blofeld is kind of the anti-Bond.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So I really liked him, you know, and you know, having seen the other Blofelds, you've got Donald Pleasance and You Only Live Twice, and you got Charles Gray in Diamonds Are Forever, which came right after this film. You know, Telly Savalas, I think, is a little. He's kind of treads that line between campy and menacing.
Yeah, which is kind of perfect for this.
Yeah. Speaking of reoccurring themes in Bond films, what did you think of Diana Rigg as the Bond girl Tracy in this film?
She was a redhead, right? Like that was kind of cool. I liked that. I really loved her at the end. You know, the build at the beginning, I was kind of sick of her, to be honest. I was like, what the hell is, you know what I mean? Like. But then it's sort of, especially that car chase, she was a badass, man. I liked it. I thought I totally could see how a Bond could fall in love with her. That was cool. So,
and want to marry her.
Yeah, actually want to marry her, right?
Yeah, which again, such a strange concept for Bond. Yeah, I thought she was good. I thought that you know, anytime and anytime you watch a Bond film, you have to take into account the Bond girls. And kind of the way that they affect Bond, and sometimes they're not believable as like an opposite of Bond.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, and sometimes they're an equal of Bond. And I think in this film, she is very much Bond's equal.
Oh, absolutely. She carried herself. I mean, she's like the drug. I mean, I don't know if he's a drug lord, but she reminds me of like the drug lord's daughter. But she is like she has a strong back. You know what I mean? She's got it.
Right.
So I don't know. I like that.
Well, I mean, Draco is a major crime boss, but it's never hinted at. It's never said as to what he actually does.
Exactly.
I always imagine he's essentially like Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
He's just like a big deal like mobster guy.
Which is kind of, I like that. At first I wasn't. You know, it's funny. It took me a while to understand what that was, and that's probably why I was frustrated with her at the beginning. But once I understood that, I kind of really liked those characters.
Yeah, I like her in this film. Obviously, you know, she brings a lot of credibility to the role, having been on, you know, the Avengers, which is such a kind of not a precursor to Bond, but yeah, a little. I mean, you know, it started in 1961. The first Bond film didn't come out until 1962, so the spy craze was kind of going on at the same time. But I think she's a good counterbalance to Lazenby's Bond. What did you think of George Lazenby in his only outing as Bond? Were you kind of disappointed that we never got to see another George Lazenby?
To be honest, it makes sense to me. Like I said, the way this story ends, I kind of am glad, because I can't imagine him being in another movie and not being affected by what happened in this movie. You know what I mean? And I kind of want the continuation of that story, and I'm glad that we don't ever get it with him, you know? So I'm sort of glad that this is kind of its own little, I guess, package of
its own little world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, as much as I do wish that we could see more of this, if the theory of every Bond is a different guy with just the same moniker, this Bond, like, loses his mind.
Yeah, because at the end he has changed. Like, there's something.
He's delusional.
Yeah, and like that would just make so much, that kind of adds to that even theory that of course he would leave after that,
Right. But I really like George Lazenby.
I did too. I thought he was a great Bond. I really did like him. I thought he took what Sean Connery had done and laid that down, and then he brought something else to it. I thought that was really cool.
And he looks like Bond. I mean, you have to have that look about you. I wasn't too big on the kind of the ruffled the ruffled shirt thing.
But I died for that kilt. Okay, let me be real with you.
And she's like half, like one of the angels of death is like writing her name in lipstick on his leg. I thought she was like straight up touching his dick.
She went under, like she lifted that dress up, the kilt up.
I was like, whoa, no. Like there's some like ball touching going
there's a
on
little
here.
bit that was a little too forward.
Yeah. But I think for James Bond, and this being his first time out of the gate and only time out of the gate, and kind of the thing Lazenby is really known for, obviously. Yeah. I think he did a really good job.
Props to Lazenby.
Yeah, and he works really well opposite Telly Savalas.
Yeah.
And in later parts of this film where he's having to kind of bring a little bit more comedy to the role because he is impersonating a genealogist named Sir Hilary Bray. Yes. He does a pretty good job of adding some, kind of comedy, a little bit more comedy to the James Bond role than we're used to at this point.
Yeah, totally. It's like a little bit more. Yeah, it's a little bit more elevated, this movie.
Yeah, but I do kind of miss Bond. I do kind of miss the ability for this, Lazenby to have another shot. I know that, because I think it could have been pretty.
I do too.
But with the way this movie ended, I think it was kind of the right move. Yeah. So we keep kind of hinting at it. If you don't want this film spoiled for you, just turn this part off now, go watch it and come back. But the Bond girl, Tracy, played by Diana Rigg, and Bond get married at the end of the film. There's like a huge marriage. M is there, Miss Moneypenny is there, Q is there. And prior to this, Blofeld is not killed. He is just kind of incapacitated.
Yeah, I actually wasn't sure if he was dead or not. I thought he might have died.
Right. And they're like fighting on like a bobsled, which is so hokey.
It really is.
Yeah. The hokiness of this movie, I think, is real. You really can feel it in the last 10 minutes when they're fighting on a bobsled. And then Bond and Tracy drive off after their marriage, and she gets headshotted by Blofeld and Irma Bunt as they drive by, and Blofeld's got like a neck brace on.
Yeah, that's
in the drive-by shooting.
It's yep.
And then Bond is like cradling her, like rocking back and forth, like delusional, being like, "She'll be okay, everything's okay."
Yeah, like it's
like a pretty downer of an ending.
It really is. It's almost like it's so shocking, especially for, like you said, because we just got like this hokey 10-minute finale scene of like the with our hero and the bad guy. And we think it's over, it feels over. And then just as she's talking about their future together, of course, they drive by and she's dead, you know what I mean? So that's the big shocking turn at the end. And it's like the very end too. It just leaves you hanging there.
Yeah. The last shot is essentially them zooming in on the bullet hole in the
car.
Yeah. Like it's so
It
weird.
is. And then it's like blue and then the credits. It was really dark. It was painful ending.
And then the next film, Diamonds Are Forever, doesn't address anything that happened.
Yeah, really.
Which is odd. Especially, I mean, not odd, but I mean, in this day and age, you would expect the next film to be Bond avenging his lost wife.
It totally feels like that's what we're gonna get, you know?
Right? And then it's not. Because after this film, Connery would come back for one more Bond film, Diamonds Are Forever. So, yeah, which is a little strange. I mean, Connery coming back for a canon Bond film and then a non-canon Bond film, which is a little odd. The only time that they ever talk about Tracy Bond, is at the beginning of For Your Eyes Only.
Really?
Where they show Roger Moore standing over Tracy Bond's grave and putting flowers on her grave.
Interesting.
And then after that, he goes and kills Blofeld by picking him up in a helicopter in his wheelchair and dropping him down a smokestack.
Oh, man.
But he wasn't known as Blofeld at the time because they didn't secure the rights to Blofeld.
Oh, interesting. So that was sort of like the revenge movie, I guess.
Yeah, but it's like a one-off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally.
Which is a little weird because it takes what amounts to 5 films for them to ever reference it again, with almost 2 completely different Bonds coming in between then and when they talk about it.
Yeah, with a character that isn't even allowed to be called Blofeld.
Right, it's man in a wheelchair. But, you know, the ending is shocking in this day and age, and the way that they handled it, I think, is even more shocking.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in this day and age of sequels picking right up right where, the last film ended.
I kind of like it, though. I like the way it stands on its own like that.
Yeah, it's different. Not in a bad way.
Totally.
It's different. And the ending really is kind of the only... it's the only downer ending I can think of in a Bond film.
Yeah, I mean, it was shockingly downer. Like, I didn't expect it.
Yeah, I knew that it happened, but it's still really surprising that is the way that this film ends.
Yeah, and it's funny because for a 2.5-hour movie, I was not expecting it to end in a way where it didn't feel like it was over.
Right. I mean, it really just like out of the blue ends. Which, again, it would be okay if they addressed it, but they don't.
Just an enigma.
Yeah. Skip it or watch it in best performance.
I would say definitely watch it, especially for George Lazenby. And I can't give him best performance because he's Bond, but like he is pretty good. I really like him. Best performance, I just fell in love with the character of Fräulein Bunt. So I really like that character. Who's the woman that played her? I don't have IMDb open. I'm such a bad.
Ilsa Steppet.
Yeah, that's Ilsa Steppet. I liked her. I'm gonna give it to her because I like that character a lot. It was really fun.
Yeah, I like this film. I would definitely say watch it. It's so different from everything else that is you would expect from a Bond film. So it's definitely worth a watch. And for best actor, I'm gonna have to go with Telly Savalas. I mean, I enjoyed him in this role.
I love it.
He was really good as Blofeld. And he played well off of Lazenby as Bond.
Yeah. The 2 bad guys.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling is the bad guy's got to be good.
They totally do.
Yeah, and if he's not a good bad guy, then there's not really any point in watching the film, because if you can't believe that the bad guy actually has a chance of going up against Bond, then it's just
pointless.
Right. There's nothing.
Yeah,
it's
basic.
Yeah. So, what do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score is for the film?
I bet the critic score is higher than the fan score. I think it's going to be I would say like 63%.
82% certified fresh.
Okay.
George Lazenby's only appearance as 007 is a fine entry in the series, featuring one of the most intriguing Bond girls in Tracy di Vicenzo, breathtaking visuals, and some great ski chases.
I'll agree with that. I think that the characters were overall more complex in this movie, and I like that.
And, it's nice to see a Bond girl that isn't just the damsel in distress.
Exactly. She had some depth and definitely felt bad that's why it hurts so much when she's gone at the end,
Yeah. What do you think the audience score is?
Maybe I was... Okay, well, I said 63 for critics, so I'm going to go to... I don't think they would like the ending, is what I would think. But let's say 48.
64%.
Okay, I was closer with that shit.
Yeah, out of 50,000 user reviews. That's a lot of reviews. That is a lot of user reviews. I think it's a good film. It's definitely different. And it's a bummer that we only get to see Lazenby once.
Yeah, that is a bummer. But he does it well, and then it doesn't. This is a great movie, and it definitely breaks the mold of what the other James Bond movies that I've seen so far have done. It's pretty formulaic as they are.
Yeah, no, I agree. They. And with Roger Moore, we're gonna see the formulaicness is just kind of it starts to run.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's. Hold on. Well, I talk about. God damn it. Well, before I talk about Thursday's show, Sean, anything you want to?
Nothing new yet. But as always, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Shonifer on Twitter and Sean Liang on Facebook.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Culture Stash. And if you like what you're listening to now, we have 100 other episodes of the Kulturecast where we talk about all kinds of movies. We also have written reviews and all kinds of stuff over at cultureshock.com. This Thursday, we're going to be joined again by Wovoka, who provides the intro and outro music for the Kulturecast. And we're going to be talking about Moonraker. Oh, man. Oh man. It is from 1979, and it is the fourth Roger Moore film, and it is known as the one where James Bond goes to space. So make sure to check that one out.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.